examine whether some of the failings highlighted, e.g. in the areas of informed consent, clinical record keeping and multidisciplinary team working, are to be found in other service areas across the Health Board, and also to improve the line of sight between point of service delivery, the ET, the executive team, and senior managers and onto the board. Well, that is not an exhaustive list, but they are some of the cross-cutting issues that this board needs to be assured about rather than reassured about moving forward. Now, I know that the chief executive and her team, and particularly our new medical director, are as appalled as I am, and the wider board are, and I invite them now to share their observations and the proposed response to the discrete findings in the two reports, as well as the broader considerations I've sought to highlight a moment ago. Joe.
Borodar, thank you, Chairman. Before I hand over to Nick, I would like to acknowledge the commitment of the BCUHB board in commissioning the RCS review of
I think Joe's frozen on us.
Hi, we've lost Joe, as you will have noticed, I feel sure. We are both in Carlton Court. She's going to attempt to reconnect. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
And Chair.
I don't want to go ahead until we've heard from Joe, because it's important that we do. So can you just bear with me for the moment, please? Apologies, Joe is just redialing in via a different device, so we still need to wait for her to do so.
Apologies, colleagues. Unfortunately, the technology let me down just now. So if I may restart. Before I hand over to Nick, I would like to acknowledge the commitment of BCUH board in commissioning the RCS review of the vascular service in order to provide the independent oversight and view of the vascular network. This report is delivered in two parts, the second part being under particular consideration today. The findings of the report are accepted in full, and we are committed to learn and improve our vascular services. I would like to sincerely apologise to patients, their families, board colleagues, the CHC and Welsh Government for the time it has taken to implement our vascular network in North Wales and commit wholeheartedly to the implementation of the improvement plan, which Nick will discuss. As Nick will outline, the oversight associated with the implementation of the findings across both reports is in process of being strengthened, building on external clinical partnerships and independent chairing. Conversations with regulators, including with regulators of individual professional practice, have commenced. A due process will be followed on all such matters, and should regulatory or other action be required, this will be managed through our normal agreed and due processes. The tripartite, that is Health Improvement Wales, Welsh Government and Audit Wales, have considered our position with regard to targeted intervention, and we await confirmation with regard to that position. We have already committed to provide monthly monitoring updates to the Minister on progress being made in the implementation of Part 1 and Part 2 of the RCS review. Finally, we're committed to communicating with patients, with individuals, and ensuring we acknowledge and support the many committed and hardworking clinicians and MDT members within our vascular service who have worked tirelessly within the service as we continue to work on the improvements required. I'd like to hand over at this point in time to Dr. Nick Lyons. Thank you.
Diolch yn fawr. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Chair. I firstly would want to acknowledge that the second part of the Royal College of Surgeons review describes a clinical service that has not always treated patients in a way that is acceptable or is right. I apologise to those families where we've let you down, and with my colleagues give an absolute commitment that the Health Board will now continue its work to deliver sustainable, reliable and effective improvements. I'm a doctor, and my professional standards and my ethics are incredibly important to me. It upsets me, and I know it upsets my colleagues, that when I read of the experiences of some patients in this report, we've truly not done what we should